guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Josh, and today we are bringing you a completely blacked out EDC. So chances are if you're watching this video is because you're interested in a completely blacked out EDC. And one of the things that I really like about it is it just looks cooler. And so for this video, I'm going to be covering a list of things that are actually practical things that I carry with me every single day. There's a few videos online that I've researched, and a lot of the things I feel like people just put in there because they want to review a product, not necessarily because it's actually a part of their EDC. And so for today's video, I'm going to cover the things that I actually carry with me on a day-to-day basis. All right, guys, let's get into it. Welcome to this EDC, and this is the blackout version, like I mentioned before. So first up, I just want to say that there's going to be a lot of products from this brand, Alpaka. This is not a sponsored video. I just happen to really like their stuff, and it works out really well with a blackout EDC. And as I mentioned before, these are actually things that I carry in my day-to-day life. They just all happen to be kind of blacked out. And so as I was looking through all of my EDC, I realized that, hey, I can put together a really cool blacked out EDC. And so first and foremost, it's going to be the Alpaka Bravo Tote in Axoflux 600D. So this bag, it is a tote, which I know is going to be kind of polarizing for some people, but I will say that if you're worried about the idea of like, you know, it kind of looks like a purse or something like that, it does come with a padded shoulder strap, so you can just throw it over. And one of the things I really like about this, first of all, is just how durable it is. So if I spill something on here, it's really easy to clean. I've had this bag for probably about a year and a half, and it hasn't really gotten that dirty. And honestly, I'm pretty hard on my stuff. I'll typically put this underneath the seat in front of me when I'm on a flight. When I bring this into the office or just take it around with me, I typically just throw it on the floor next to my desk or something. It's just has worn really, really well. Obviously, it looks super cool. It's sleek, it's modern. You can tell everything's blacked out, even like the hardware here and the zippers, and everything's blacked out. So it is super, super slim. And one of the things that I think is really cool about this Alpaka Bravo Tote is that when you open it on the inside, everything is really light colored inside. And so what I like about that is it makes it really easy to find things. So a lot of bags that I've used in the past are really cool. They'll be really durable, or maybe they'll be a high quality leather. But when you go to find things inside, typically the inside of bags are pretty dark. And so it makes it really hard to find things at a quick glance. And as you guys can see in this bag, like the inside is really, really light. This bag does have a lot of organization built into it. So the front zipper right here, like you can see, has a bunch of areas where you can put a bunch of different things on. I've switched to other bags, carried them for a little bit, but usually end up coming back to the Alpaka Bravo Tote. So definitely would recommend this one. Okay guys, well, one of the things that I rarely leave my house without, and I know it's going to be a little bit intense for some people, and it fits really, really nice in the Alpaka Bravo Tote, is my 2023 MacBook Pro 16-inch. This has the M3 chip, and this specific configuration I got with 32 gigs of RAM and I think a 512 SSD. This thing is an absolute powerhouse of a machine. All of the video editing that I do, all of my work gets done on this MacBook Pro. And while I know this is a little bit overkill for a lot of people, it had been a couple years since I had upgraded. And so I got this one actually last year, and I have done everything. All of my rendering is super quick on this thing. It is an absolute beast of a machine. The battery life is phenomenal on this, even when I'm abusing it running Adobe Premiere, Photoshop, Lightroom, intense processing. I have not maxed this thing out at all. One of the things that I obviously really like about the 16-inch MacBook Pro is how big of a screen you get. And so when I don't have my actual editing monitor, is really good for like if I need to edit videos on the go or do a lot of work, or even some like admin tasks if I'm answering emails or looking at spreadsheets. This thing is an absolute powerhouse. I guess the trade-off for this is like with the big screen also comes a larger footprint. And so this thing is pretty heavy. When it's in my bag, I can definitely feel that it's in there versus some of the more lightweight options. And so, yeah, I guess that's the trade-off. Even when I go out for the day and say we're just going shopping, or we're going to go to the park or go walk on the beach or something like that, typically I will have my MacBook Pro in the car. And I know that's pretty overkill for a lot of people, but there has been so many times and instances where I just need to jump on my computer real quick, edit something, turn it around, and get it out the door. And so having this with me all the time definitely helps me to be able to do that. I am trying to go more the iPad Pro route. So I do have the iPad, the like 12.9 inch one with the newest chip inside of it. And so I've been trying to use that as a laptop replacement more and more. But the iPad OS operating system that it has, I just feel like I lose a lot of productivity in it. I wish more than anything that you could get Mac OS on the iPads. I feel like then I would truly be able to use it as a laptop replacement, but I don't know if Apple's ever going to do that. I think that would jeopardize their MacBook sales too much. And so until then, I'm going to have the 16-inch MacBook Pro. I could definitely see in the future, now that especially like the MacBook Airs have come such a long way in their processing power, that I could see maybe for like on-the-go portable stuff, I would invest in a new MacBook Air. This one is so great. And so we're recording this video in November of 2024. And so just a couple days ago, all of the brand new MacBook Pros were released with the new M4 Max chips. For me, I don't know that it's worth switching, especially considering that this laptop is only a year old. The only thing that I really like that is on the new MacBook Pros is the introduction of Thunderbolt 5 and some of the speeds that you would get with transfer, because recording videos like this, when you have all of the raw video content, offloading it onto a computer can take a long time, especially if you don't have good cables and really are just being aware of the limitations of your machines. But again, for me and my use case, I don't see the need for upgrading this year. I'm going to continue to use this one. And if I do upgrade, it's largely going to be for form factor, weight, and space savings, and not necessarily performance. So for now, the 16-inch M3 MacBook Pro with 32 gigs of RAM is my daily laptop that I carry around. So if I don't need to bring a laptop and iPad, say I'm just going to the grocery store for a little bit, or maybe I'm going out to go on a walk with my wife or something, typically I'm not carrying a big tote, but instead I'm carrying a littler pack. So again, I promise this video is not sponsored by Alpaka, but this is the Alpaka Tech Case Mini. So I believe this is technically made for tech, like if you wanted to put your camera in here, cables, anything like that. I have used this bag just as an EDC, kind of like a sling bag that would just go over my shoulder. You can see it has a strap here, which is completely detachable. So you can either rock this as a shoulder bag, or if you wanted to take this strap off, you can just carry it in your hand right beside you. One of the things that I like about this is specifically an X-Pack material. So a little bit more durable. Everything is blacked out on this. You can see black hardware. You can see black zipper guards on here. The zipper pulls are really nice because you can kind of get a feel for it even when you're not directly looking at the bag. And this bag it opens up really, really wide. And again, one of the things that I have really enjoyed about the Alpaka brand specifically is that typically they're doing a high contrast interior. So in the X-Pack specific version of the Tech Case Mini, you're going to kind of get this blood orange interior that I thought was pretty cool and just a little bit different from kind of that off-white cream interior that my Bravo Tote has. But again, makes it really, really easy to find things in here. It's super sleek and slim to where this thing kind of just fits anywhere. And if I'm on the go, this is typically like my go-to. I really love that it's intentionally not flashy. It's a little more subtle. So if I don't want to draw a bunch of attention to myself, this is definitely something that is worth picking up. Okay, keeping with the blacked out theme, for the past about year, I have actually been rocking the Samsung ZFold 5 phone. So I know Samsung recently came out with a newer version. I've loved this foldable form factor. The fold out screen is a huge 7.6 inch screen. So you can use this phone a couple different ways. So you can either use it just from the outside screen like this. And one of the things I love about Samsung specific form factor is that with this screen, you can see it's a little bit more narrow than like your typical flagship smartphone would be. And because it's a little bit more narrow, I can one hand this phone, which is really, really nice. If I just want to check something quick on the go, maybe check an email or respond to a text message, something like that. With the largest version of the iPhones, you kind of need two hands. And so having the ability to just use this one-handed is really, really nice. And then of course, if you need more screen real estate, this thing opens up to a massive 7.6-inch screen. And I know one of the things that is kind of the primary concern of people that have maybe heard about foldables but haven't made the jump is the crease that is in the middle of the phone. I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but yeah, it's there and you see it at certain angles. But for the most part, when I'm using this for like media consumption or even multitasking, if I have, say, my email open and YouTube open on another side of the screen, I kind of don't notice that it's there. It's only when I'm looking for the crease that you do notice it. And so, yeah, I've really enjoyed the foldable. It's not my only phone. I still do have an iPhone that I use, and I'm definitely in the Apple ecosystem, but I've been carrying this one and rocking two phones now for about a year, and I've really enjoyed this one. The only downside about this is when I got it, it was very expensive. I want to say it was like $2,000. The good part is now, if you wanted to get this one, because Samsung just came out with their newer version, they're actually pretty discounted online right now. So I think at the time of recording this video, I went on Amazon and looked, and I think these are discounted for like $800 or $900. And so if you're interested in picking one of these up, I'm going to leave a link down in the description below where you can get one of these. I'll say that the pros of this phone are you can do a ton of productivity. Obviously, the huge screen is great for gaming, for media consumption, if you're watching Netflix or YouTube. I've actually used this as an iPad replacement on some of the flights that I've been on. But one of the downsides for me is going to be the camera quality. So I'm somebody that likes to take a lot of pictures, and I have gotten so used to being able to take pictures on the iPhone in RAW format and being able to edit it a good amount in like Lightroom or things like that. And I just don't feel like Samsung prioritized the cameras on this, even in the same way that they prioritize the camera quality in, say, some of their flagship phones like the Galaxy S series. So if you are somebody that is an avid photographer, I would say maybe hold off on this phone. But if you are somebody who, for the most part, just enjoys media consumption, productivity, things like that, I think the Samsung ZFold 5, even though there's a newer 6, is definitely something to consider, especially given the fact of how on sale and discounted it is. Again, link in the description if you want to pick up any of the content that we're talking about in today's video. And one of the coolest things is that it is pretty cool and blacked out looking. So I've definitely enjoyed this phone and would recommend it for the right person. Okay guys, well next we are going to talk about one of the coolest things that I didn't think I was going to carry with me a lot when I first bought it, but has turned into something that really I rarely leave the house without. That is my Anker Prime power bank. This thing is an absolute beast of a power bank. This thing has over 27,000 milliamp batteries in it, so it's incredibly robust. It charges at a total output of 250 watts, and so out of a single port on this, you're going to get up to 140 watt fast charging, and you're going to have the ability to literally fast charge up to 3 devices. And so for myself, like if I'm traveling, say all day, typically I'm going to be close to an outlet where it's not that big of a deal. But most of the time that I need this is like, say, if I'm out at the office all day, or if I'm going around and I'm shooting different content, or say I'm going shopping for a whole day and then going grocery shopping and then going to a park afterwards. Typically my phone or my devices are going to drain pretty quick. And so what I need is something on the go that can charge up a few different devices really fast. This thing has been an absolute dream. Some of the cool things about it, it does have like a full LED screen on the front that shows you the output of your devices that are charging. And then one of the things that I also got with this is it actually recharges via a wireless base that you just literally set this on. And so basically I keep this with me all day, and then at the end of the day when I get back home, I set this on my desk and it charges up really quick. And one of the great things about this is that when I set this on the wireless charging pad, it recharges at 100 watts. So for those of you guys that maybe have experienced other power banks before, one of the biggest drawbacks is some of them don't recharge very quick. So again, this recharges at 100 watts through the wireless connection. If you need something faster than that, you can directly plug a USB-C cable into this, directly into the wall, and it actually increases the charging rate to 160 watts of fast charging to replenish this thing. So for context, this thing, say if my MacBook Pro is all the way dead, this gets me up to about 50% in like 20 minutes, which is really good for a power bank. Phones are going to charge significantly faster than that, iPads, cameras, things like that. So it is a little bit on the pricier side, but again, I love that the front is black. I think the sides are maybe more of that like space gray color. It definitely feels like they're trying to mimic some of the Apple colors. Really, really cool. One thing I will say is that for a power bank, has over a 27,000 milliamp battery in it. One of the things that you are going to need to consider is that it is a little bit heavier than most other power banks. So just know that if you need to carry this around, it is going to add a little bit of more weight to your pack. So say if you're carrying a tote or something like the Alpaka Bravo tote, you probably just want to make sure that you have a shoulder strap or something so that the weight doesn't become too much in just say your hand or something. Anker power bank is something I definitely recommend for EDC. Okay, one thing I mentioned earlier is a water bottle. And so this is the Simple Modern Slim 24-ounce insulated water bottle. It really is simple. I know the name is literally called Simple Modern, but it is exactly that. It's simple, it's modern, it's matte black. It keeps my water cold. It's slim enough to fit in the side of most backpacks and totes and things like that. It has a little flip up spout here, really easy to clean when I need to. I always have water with me. That is something that I do not leave the house without. Pretty inexpensive. I think it's like $25 on Amazon. Again, links for all this stuff in the description down below if you want to get it, but definitely do not leave the house without water. Okay, next we are going to talk about earbuds. So one of the things that I do not leave the house without, that is in my EDC, that honestly I feel more lost without than just about anything else, is earbuds. So as I mentioned before, I am in the Apple ecosystem. I have an iPhone as my daily phone. Well, I do carry the Samsung, but I have an Apple TV at our house. I have an iPad. I have a MacBook Pro. So definitely in that ecosystem. And I love the AirPods, but one of the things that I don't like the most about the AirPods Pro is the color of them. The white, while it's kind of cool at first, they get really dirty after time, and it just kind of doesn't match the aesthetic with a lot of the other stuff I have. And so one of the things that I picked up recently was actually this case from ESR. And so one of the things I really like about this case is specifically that it has a locking mechanism here. So you guys have all been there when you drop your AirPod case and your AirPods just shoot out and they go like 5 or 10 feet out and you're trying to find them. This case, because it locks when it shuts, if I drop this on the ground, they don't open or anything. And so there's this little mechanism right here that you actually have to slide in order to open your AirPod case. When you go to close it, it has like a magnetic seal, which is really nice. Super durable. It allows for wireless charging also through the back, so you don't lose that functionality. And then it has this little like clip that you can clip onto things inside of your bag or on the outside. And so if you guys do have AirPods, I know this is a little bit cheating because the AirPods are white, but the case is black. Honestly, it's a super cool vibe. It has like this carbon fiber look on the outside. Well, I don't think it's real carbon fiber. Definitely something worth picking up. I'm not a huge case person on my earbuds, but this one is smooth. It's easy to get in and out of your pocket if you wanted to carry these in your pocket. And again, the locking functionality is something that I have definitely loved, but I know it's a little bit of a stretch because the AirPods are white. So this is a blackout video. So I definitely wanted to include one of my new favorite headphones. That is the Bose Quiet Comfort Ultra earbuds. These things are incredible. So I've been in the Apple ecosystem for a while and recently started to research these earbuds. The sound quality is exactly what you would expect from Bose. They're really, really clear. You have the ability through the Bose app to actually dial in the EQ as much as you would like, something that you don't get in functionality from the AirPods Pro. And then the noise canceling on these is significantly better than the AirPods Pro, especially at lower frequencies. So for me, again, a lot of what I use these for is going to be like going to and from the airport, or maybe like walking around town where I need some of those lower frequencies to be blocked out. These are significantly better, I have found, than the AirPods Pro. And while they are going to come at a premium price point, I think the retail on these is around the $300 range. Most of the time you can find deals and find these on sale for around the $220 range. And so when I picked these up on Amazon, they were actually on one of those sales. I'm going to leave a link down in the description below if you want to pick these up. I would say like the comfort of them is really comparable to the AirPods. So like if I take these out, you can see it has like a silicone tip here. The form factor is pretty slim. So like if I put them in my ear like this, like you really can't tell that you're in your ear. One of the things that I don't really love about AirPods is that when you're wearing AirPods, everybody knows that you are, again, because of that really white contrast against your skin. It's like super, super obvious that you have headphones in. These ones are really slim. I think because they're a darker color, they're not as obvious. Very, very comfortable. They create a really good seal in your ear. They are going to come with a bunch of different size tips, and so you can dial it in to your specific ear size. I have really, really enjoyed these. The noise cancellation works great. The transparency is good, but I will say that the AirPods Pro are maybe a little bit better in the transparency department. So if that's something that you really use often, I would just weigh out the pros and cons to that. Again, I wanted headphones specifically that had really, really good noise cancellation. I don't typically use the transparency. If I'm gonna like talk to somebody in public, I take my earbuds out. I don't just keep them in because I feel like that's a little bit rude. But again, that's just me. So definitely love these. The only thing that I will knock against these Bose Quiet Comfort Ultra earbuds is that while they are a very premium price, this case is pretty big and it does not have wireless charging. So it is going to charge USB-C on the bottom, which is nice, but it is not going to have any sort of wireless charging in such a big case, which I really feel like Bose could have stepped it up and included wireless charging. A great pair of headphones, and they are super cool and match that Blackout theme. Okay, so I mentioned in my last video, if you guys haven't seen that, I did an EDC of traveling over 200,000 miles over the past couple years. And one of the things that I mentioned is I have recently got into watches. And so for this Blackout EDC video, this is a watch that I've actually had for probably 10 or 15 years. It's been in my collection for a long time, but this is the Casio WorldTimer 5-alarm watch. So I actually looked online and they don't actually make this model anymore. They've since done an upgrade to it. This watch has just been an absolute workhorse of a watch. So it is a quartz movement. It has a nice thin rubber strap. There's like a light feature on here. It can track a bunch of different time zones all around the world. So it's really nice if you are traveling, going to and from destinations, and you don't, say, have a GMT function on a manual wind watch. You literally just hit a button on the side here and you can change between all of the different time zones in the world. You can set a ton of different alarms on here. There's a light feature. There's so much functionality in this watch, and it's not a big deal if it gets scratched. It's, again, a pretty inexpensive watch. I think it was $20 that I got 15 years ago. I don't know if the camera can pick up on that, but there's some scratches on this crystal. It's probably Hesalite, definitely plastic. It's not like a sapphire crystal. Nothing fancy, but this watch just works. And so where I find myself using this watch the most is like if I'm going outside and doing some sort of manual labor, or maybe going on a motorcycle ride, this is typically the watch that I'm going to put on. Definitely let me know in the comments what you guys think about the Casio WorldTime watch. Even though I'm a big manual watch guy, I definitely love this, and I think quartz does have its place in certain specific watches. Okay guys, well, we're kind of getting to the end of this, and so I'm going to go through the last couple things pretty quick here, but one of the things that is absolutely included in my EDC is a wallet. So this is the Alpaka Zip Pouch wallet, and so again, very similar to the other Alpaka stuff we've already talked about. This is an X-Pack material. You get some of that cross-stitch kind of pattern that X-Pack is known for. Again, on the inside, you're going to have a really high contrast interior, which is nice if you need to find things. And then there's another front pouch right here, which is super nice. And so this is big enough to have all of my cards inside, cash if I want it. This is something that is pretty durable. The only drawback I would say is that this is a little bit big if you're just putting your wallet directly in your pocket. If you're putting it in an external bag, it's not that big of a deal. And I would say I would definitely recommend this. But for a wallet that I'm going to carry actually in my pocket and not put in a pack, I'm going to go for this wallet. It's a little bit fancier. It is a Louis Vuitton card organizer, and this one is actually in black ostrich, which was a very, very nice treat that I got on a trip to New York City a couple years ago with my wife. It's a really nice wallet. It's lasted over time. You can see like on the inside, there's card organizers right here, there's card slots here, and then there's some like back area that is good for keeping cash or receipts or something like that. And so all of my wallets are pretty minimal. I'm not typically a guy that's going to carry a bunch of different cards and a bunch of different cash. Most of what I need is in like my Apple Wallet on my iPhone, but there is still a need definitely for wallets. And so I would say that this one is a little bit more on the bougie side, while this one is definitely more affordable. So take your pick on which one you prefer, but definitely love both of these wallets. something that I do not leave the house without is a pen. So again, I'm going to give a couple different options here. This is a MontBlanc pen that actually my wife got for me as a present, probably like 5 or 6 years ago. I landed in a new job. We were living in Dallas, Texas, and she got this for me as a congratulations pen. So on the pricier side, definitely for a pen, but I'll say that this pen has been with me over 6 years and I just buy refills for it. So this is really nice. This is definitely a treat that I don't know that I would have bought for myself, but super happy that my wife bought it for me. And if I'm not going to carry around my fancy schmancy pen, the pens that I have been going for, funny enough, are actually from Sharpie. So these Sharpie S gel pens are absolutely amazing. So they kind of write like the old school like gel pens that you would have wrote back with like back in the day in like middle school. One of the things that I hate about gel pens is they smear pretty significantly. Like if you just wipe your hand on it after you write with it, you're going to get a bunch of that ink and transfer on your hand. I don't know how Sharpie did it, but these S gel pens dry instantly. Like literally I can write here. We're actually going to do this. Okay, so here's some paper. I'm going to write on here, Josh, YouTube, and then I'm going to wipe my finger, literally completely clean, dry. I don't know how they did it, but this dries instantly. These are really, really great pens. So I bought like a pack of like 40 of them. They're absolutely everywhere in all of my bags. I would definitely recommend this pen, and it worked out because it's the Blackout theme for this video. And then last but not least, I have the 511 EDC PL AAA tactical flashlight. So this flashlight is a super small form factor. It's powered by 2 AAA batteries. I have a bunch of these. They're in all of my different bags. Flashlights are something that I do not leave the house without. You never know when you're going to be in a situation where you need an external light. And I know that most smartphones have built-in flashlights to them. It's so much more durable. The form factor is really nice. You can get like a good grip in it, and I use these pretty often, so definitely would recommend them. They're not terribly expensive. Got it from 511. You can get them anywhere that sells 511 material. And yeah, that is for the most part my EDC of what I have been carrying around in kind of this Blackout edition. So yeah, guys, that is my EDC for 2024-2025, the Blackout edition. Curious to hear what you guys think of things that maybe you liked in this video, some things that you have not considered carrying in your EDC that you want to now incorporate, or maybe some things that I didn't touch on in this video. Would love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. If you have liked this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. That helps us out more than you know. Be on the lookout for more videos like this. We're going to be releasing content like this every single week for the remainder of this year and going into next year. So thank you guys so much for being along for the journey. Till we meet again. Peace.